Good morning. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love. 1 John 4:18. We're going to talk about that perfect love in just a second. In times like these, fear is something that we all deal with. I know that we're all afraid. You're afraid to go out anywhere because you're afraid you might get a virus that could give you a respiratory infection that could kill you. You're afraid to be around people because you don't know who has it. Some of us still have to go to work in a public place, and I'm sure that bears on their minds and the minds of their family. We have older people that are shut in, and I'm sure they're very concerned, and we're worried about them as well. Children are out of school. Life is literally ground to a stop here in these United States and throughout a lot of the world. I look at what's going on in Italy and it absolutely breaks my heart. And we all seem to be captured by the spirit of fear. But you know what, folks? That fear comes from the enemy. That fear comes from Satan himself. That fear that dwells in our hearts is what makes us afraid. Fear is not of God. We're told that His love, His perfect love, drives out fear. Do you know what that really means? That because God is perfect, and because His love for us is perfect, the fear of our own shortcomings, the fear of our own sin, the fear that we can't ever measure up is gone, because God knows we can't measure up. He knows that we're going to fail. He knows that we're going to be afraid. One of my favorite science fiction books of all time is Dune, and in it there's a quote that says, "Fear is the mind killer." What does that mean? It's really true, because when we're afraid, we don't think straight. Now, I'm not saying that we aren't supposed to be afraid or be cautious of this virus, because we are. We're supposed to be cautious of it and do what the authorities have told us to do. But I want you to know that just because there's difficult times in this world, that God is still on the throne, and He is still sovereign, and He is still Lord. Even though some of us are sick, and that there are people that are dying, and we have all sorts of trouble in this world, Jesus is still Lord. The God that created us will see us through this, because we are His people, and His perfect love drives out fear. Discipline causes fear sometimes, but God's perfect love drives out fear. It drives out our fear of failure. It drives out our fear of imperfection. It drives out our fear of living. It drives out our fear of death, and it drives out the fear that we face because of the coronavirus or any other fear we might have. Embrace God's plan for your life. We don't always get everything we want, and things are not always perfect. Some people out here in the world will end up sick. Some people will die. But you can know in your heart that the Lord that created all things is still sovereign. He is still God, and He is still master of all things. And He loves each and every one of us. Even when times are tough. It's hard. But He's there, and He will not leave us or forsake us. Have a great day. Be kind to each other. See you next time.